Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 12. This one will be mostly about reimagining the way we deal with trains around Ramosov. I did mention in the last episode that I wasn't happy with the current arrangement, so we will deal with that. And then, we are going to move on to planning out the gravel processing, which is the most likely next step on our way toward a completely sustainable domestic economy. Also, I have an apology to make. I promised that today I would name the steel processing Satsumograd, but unfortunately I completely forgot. But did it immediately after the recording ended, and before I made the usual episode save, so it is already done, just done off camera. Sorry about that. As usual, the first thing we do is check on the state of our people, and they are doing pretty good these days. With the education system sorted, we can see some improvements on the number of people seeking healthcare. By the end of the episode, it will be pretty much completely gone. Next, let's get this rail branch sorted. I decided to just bite the bullet, and build yet another overpass. And that will require a bit of preparation. As with all overpasses, this one also requires quite a bit of terrain manipulation. I tried to be super careful not to spill onto the roads with this, and I think I managed to avoid it. As usual, I kind of wish we had more bridge options. Since we had so many bridges around here with steel trusses on top, in the end I decided to just go with a plain flat top version. Yeah, plain and simple. It will do just fine. We will end up moving it a little bit, just so we can connect it to the main line a bit more smoothly. Yep, this is a no-go, time to redraw the bridge. A slightly different angle should do the trick. Just like that. Only needs small adjustments, and I'll be happy with it. But let's deal with the station next. In this new arrangement, the train station will be on the other side of the highway, and the place where the electric substation was turned out to be the perfect place for it. I think I also mentioned in the last episode that this power arrangement was temporary, so it was bound to happen sooner or later. Next, let's sort out the power. I decided to just use a switch on the line going to the pump jacks. With our current construction setup, it should be done relatively quickly. This little space between the tanks is the perfect location for the substation. Since those free road depots are temporary, I think it's safe to just use a level crossing for this one. The road will be removed at a later date. Let's at least try to build the tracks with as few turns as possible. Well, the excavators are busy with the new underground pipes and cables, so let's give them some time. We can use the bulldozers to accomplish the same thing. Once again, we can do better than this. Just give the level crossing a bit of an angle, and it will come together beautifully. And with the excavators free to use, let's use the automatic sloping for yellow ghost images. That looks like one smooth slope. Couldn't be any better. Yeah, I'm happy with this one. The shorter arm will be one big junction, but the longer ones can be used as Q blocks if they are long enough. I'll need to make some measurements later. We can see some doctors showing up at the hospitals. We are almost ready to get rid of the workplace restrictions in the apartment blocks. Almost forgot to pause construction on the train station. We don't need it right now, so let's not waste money on it. Once power is fully reconnected, we will start seeing some activity from our export trucks again. They won't touch these tanks while unpowered. All overground buildings are now done. Only the cables remain. I got a couple new mods, like the embankment assets for the town shoreline. I won't use them right now, I need to test them first, but I thought I mentioned that I have them. And with the power back on, the truck set off immediately, since we have more than enough fuel to export. And looking at our finances, none too soon. We just barely managed to avoid having to take out another loan. Once we are in a more favorable financial situation, I will increase the export threshold above 10%, so we have a bigger domestic stockpile, but this arrangement will do just fine for now. Next, we can turn our attention to the gravel processing. Setting it up right next to the coal area seems like a good idea. I haven't decided yet if I want to use a moated processing center just yet. I will place the vanilla one today, but I might go ahead and download that free-flowing version from the workshop. That should help with a more continuous flow of trucks. Of course, we should build the big aggregate storage, so we will have a big amount of the stuff stored away. Might as well add a truck loading station. It will take a while for trains to become available, so let's just make the lives of our drivers a bit easier in the meantime. Speaking of trains, let's not forget to add the station for those as well. And would you look at that? The branch going to the oil refinery is in a perfect position for this place too. Just a slightly different angle of approach, and we're golden. Yeah, nice gentle turns, pretty much perfect. All this reorganizing did leave quite a bit of unnecessary elevated terrain, so let's remedy that situation. We might as well make some measurements, so we can place the station crossings. As long as the platform is at least 150 meters long, it should be okay for normal length trains. This dirt road did interfere here, but I think I'm okay with it. I have a feeling that it will be removed before we reach this place with the track layers, so we can redo the crossing before then. I wasn't sure that the bridge is long enough for a Q signal, so I had to do one final adjustment. Basically, I just wanted to add a little bit more track space right after the bridge. That should make that block long enough for trains to queue in. And the slope is still A-OK in my book. We just need to make sure that the electric substation can reach every important building in the area, and we are pretty much done. Almost, but one of the towers wasn't covered, so let's try again. Next to the bus stop will be a guaranteed success. I'm not sure how I want to deal with the quarries though. We either give them power too, so the excavators inside can refuel, or just place one of the free gas stations right next to them, so they can refuel without power locally. For the rural aesthetic, I think I will go with the gas station option later. Plus it takes only one distribution slot to keep the gas station full, instead of the 3 if we did each quarry individually. We will lose a little bit of efficiency this way, but the overall impact should be minimal. And looking at the apartment blocks, complaints about healthcare are pretty much gone. At this point we have 5 times as many college graduates that we started with. I was pretty confident that we will be okay if we got rid of the workplace restrictions at this point. There. From now on, everyone can work where they please. And we managed to make enough bitumen to start exporting that as well. Generally speaking, it is a more valuable commodity than fuel, but it is made much more slowly, so I think it's less efficient overall. Still a good moneymaker though. Also, make sure that you check the road signs whenever you change an intersection. Building that road going to the train station managed to mess up this one. The next thing I wanted to do today was the fuel distribution in Kirkimov. Right now, it is done via that single big office, and the destination slots are filling up fast there. Having separate offices that deal with fuel exclusively will help out quite a bit. The first step to accomplishing this is the construction of a second storage tank for fuel. We only needed to mess around a bit with the tracks, and it's good to go. Selecting the site for the small distribution offices though, that was a bit more tricky. I didn't leave too much space for myself for this project. I really wanted them to be as close to the tank as possible, so in the end, they ended up here, just at the foot of this hill. After a tiny bit of road redrawing, we were ready to proceed. As usual, I'll have 3 small distribution offices for this job. As you might notice, the leftmost one is out of reach for the power substation. That is quite unfortunate. While it will work just fine, it won't be able to accept fuel deliveries for its internal tank. We will manage to build all 3 of them before I notice this issue, so I'm not completely sure how to deal with the problem. Moving the local substation is too much of a hassle for such a small benefit, so I just might leave this as is, and let the trucks get refueled at the gas station. With our profits soaring, we need to keep an eye on our loans from now on. As soon as we can repay one of them, we should do it, so we can keep the interest to a minimum. And even after removing workplace restrictions, our education is still going strong, and the hospitals are now working perfectly. I was trying to see how I can start expanding the town at this point, but I didn't really see any reason to do it just yet. We are still filling that third apartment block, so we are okay at this point. We can however start upgrading the rest of the main street. And this time, we can make sure that the light posts are all in the middle. Where they end up is all about how the original road was drawn. It doesn't matter which direction the upgrade was initiated. And since we are not using these roads yet, we can comfortably redraw them. Let's connect the fuel tank to the train station. That's where we will receive the incoming goods in the future. As usual, to pass the time, I decided that we can replace all the trees and bushes we had to delete with all the terrain manipulation we did recently. That's the undergrowth done, let's add a couple trees as well. Not too many, just enough to make it look natural, while still maintaining a clear view from the embankment. We might be able to redraw the rest of the main street a bit earlier than expected. Once the entire thing is upgraded, we could just get rid of the one-way designations, and do it segment by segment. I'll have to see how feasible it is. And we are pretty much at 400 in terms of college graduates. Once things start rolling, they do so real fast. Also, we should be okay if we lowered the amount of doctors in the main hospital for a bit. And this time I'm keeping a list of every building I changed in this way, so hopefully I won't forget to reset them later. Having this fire in the rail CO made it clear that we really need to sort out the workers in Kirchhoff. We are still using foreign labor, so we should remedy that in the next episode. That will include the upgrading of the road between the bus stop and the fire station, so we will have to take care of that first. Okay, the storage tank is done. Only the offices need to be built, and we can start setting things up. Also, I was a bit confused as to why we had foreign workers present in these construction sites. I even went as far as to remove the customs houses from the local COs, even though all the buses were already in the town. I just didn't think of the local bus stop, where we are still using microbuses going to the border. Again, we need to sort this out in the next episode. I didn't really want to mess with this small monument too much. I didn't want to remove the bushes, but then I thought, let's just do it, and replace them in the next episode. Then I did it, and the bushes didn't get deleted. Win-win. Well, 2 of them did get removed, so now we cannot place new ones in their places until the game is reloaded. No big deal, there's always tomorrow. Such long roads take a while to finish, so we won't see the end result until the next episode, unfortunately. But going by the ghost images, the streetlights seem to be all in the middle, which is exactly what we wanted. Before we finish, let's just wait for these new offices to be built, and then we can call it a day. We can even send this leftover truck to the middle one, since it's already done. Alright, 2 down, 1 to go. We might as well set up the basic deliveries. All 3 will pick fuel up from the storage tank next door, and the second delivery destination will be used to fuel each other in a chained fashion. The first one delivers fuel to the second to the third, and then the third will keep the first one topped up. Except, with power not on in the outermost one, the final setup will have the two with power fueling each other, and the third one can just use the local gas station. A bit unfortunate, but oh well, not the end of the world. So, in the next episode, we are going to set up these fuel deliveries, which will free up quite a few slots in the original Kirchhoff DO. We also need to sort out the worker situation there, so we can stop using foreign labor altogether. We can also start building the gravel processing, and maybe begin working on some of the steel stuff too. I'm not talking about the main buildings just yet, but maybe the conveyors and the towers can be built already. We might be able to squeeze in the coal mine and processing if we aren't too hasty. We could make some money on the side exporting coal as well, and then stop selling it once the rest of the steel buildings are up and running. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then leaving a like and subscribing to the channel just might motivate me to make more. If you are more in the donating mood, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description, where you can buy me a glass of water. I don't really drink coffee. Thank you for your support, and until next time, I will see you later.